Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Protein Snack Shop podcast. We have a good friend of ours here, Joe Greenwell, and we're so excited for you guys to meet him and hear about his amazing story.
Yeah, so we met Joe at a little sampling event 3 or 4 years ago. Was it 3 years ago, Joe?
Yeah, about 3.
This little nutrition store in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and hit it off instantly. And just kind of, our friendship has grown over the time. But his story for those folks that are struggling with their weight will be very inspirational today. So today, I'm kind of going to let you walk people through, Joe, just the emotional side of it, how you got heavy, the day that you decided to change your life. Just kind of walk us through that whole thing.
First of all, how much weight have you lost?
It goes up and it goes up and it goes down. I guess I was 360 pounds right before COVID, March of, what would that be, 19 or 20 of it during COVID. So as soon as I was on the road touring with Lauren Daigle doing that, and we got the call and everything shut down, it was a pretty good job. And I was probably 360 pounds probably. I was 4X shirt,
Wow.
46 size waist.
Have you kept some of that clothes just to remind yourself?
No, but I keep saying I want to go to like a store and buy them and just like
Go to Goodwill and get some.
And just like put myself into that shirt and just to see the comparisons, because it still don't feel real that I was that big to this day. Like I look in the mirror and it's like I don't see, like I see my body, but like mentally I think that's the thing that everybody struggles with.
So how did you get to that way? Take us back through childhood, kind of give us the story of, how you grew up, how you kind of got to that point.
Okay, very good. So I grew up, I didn't have a great, didn't have a good, like solid foundation. I didn't, like my mom struggled with drugs all her life. To this day, she's an addict and still out there. I've ceased communication with her over the last 6 years. Just some things you just have to let settle and circle back around.
Sure.
And so I grew up, she dropped me off at my dad's house when I was 3 years old, never did come back. And so I used to see her, and she was a drug addict. And so I would see her driving and around the block. My birthday, I'd see her pass me, didn't say nothing. I mean, she did come back around. It was in and out. It was never consistent. And my dad, they did the best he could. The time that I had there until I was 10 years old, and my mom got her life back together. But in between the 3 and 10, I didn't have much say so with my mom. And so there was a lot of trauma there.
Sure.
Then so I did a lot of Christmases, homeless shelters. I visited my mom in the homeless shelters and stuff like that, in the Catholic community. So thank God for the angel tree. And I always support the angel tree to now. I spend a lot of Christmas.
We have too. That's so cool. We did it for years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even tell nobody, but I always set $500 aside and just do that. Don't even say nothing. It's just enjoyment, because I mean I had some nice stuff. And and so she would struggle with that. So I never had a good growing up. I didn't have like a family like everybody, like my friends did, or nothing like that.
Probably didn't have much of a routine as far as even
wasn't into sports, didn't know it was like you just eat, like you eat what was on the plate. Your stepmom made you eat what was on the plate. And at my dad's house, and you liked it, you eat it. You didn't, it was nothing. You didn't go in the refrigerator. I wasn't allowed to go in the refrigerator, stuff like that. Then I was troubled growing up. I was in and out of foster care. I was in boot camp. I didn't get to graduate with my high school. I graduated with his award of the state, went to college for free. So when I was 18, I turned 18, and I was in a boot camp, Green River boot camp outside of Bowling Green. And didn't graduate high school, got GED. They took me straight to college, and they had it set up to university. I was 18. It was either hit the street or go to college, and they was paying for it. So I got accepted to Western, went to Western. They moved me straight in for like last 2 months of the semester and did that. And
did you graduate from college?
I didn't, and I'll probably go back and finish it. I lacked probably, I did good. Okay. And so the only real support in the family I ever had was my grandmother, right? Like she was like the brick between me and my brother that held us together.
God, and she passed that so often.
And she passed away, God love her soul. She passed away my junior year of high school. And I got into, like, I was selling pot to all my fraternity brothers and just got carried away. And like the whole time, like the first 3 years of college, I was out partying, like, it was on the executive council in the fraternity. And that was like showing me, okay, there is some different, there's other areas, there's other world out here than what we're living in small town Crofton and Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I was always infatuated with the big cities, the lights. And so going to college is probably the most influential thing. I didn't technically graduate, but I got a hell of an education out of it.
Yeah.
What
were you studying?
It was business management.
Okay, I had intentions using that now a little bit, right?
Yeah, I had intentions to want to go to law school.
I can see you being a good lawyer.
And I really wanted to do that. I started studying for my LSATs. My grandma passed away. My uncle, I'll never forget it. He came over beating on the door at 9:00 in the morning. Yeah. Like I said, I was a weed man. I was like, man, this is crazy. I was like, this can't be happening. So, I ran downstairs and was freaking out. And it was my uncle crying. He said, hey, man. And, I mean, he's blunt. Like, my uncle, he's just like, hey, she's dead. I'm like, wow. He's like my grandma. It's his sister. Okay. It's my uncle. He lived in Bowling Green. And so, and he just, he's like, he's dead. He's like, come with me now. I'm like, so and then it all played out. I couldn't go with him. And make long story short, I can just talk and talk and talk. No, so, that's why I want to hear. I want to hear it. You got to help me stay on track. So we're in college now. So that was my junior year. I ended up failing out and just, man, it got really dark for the last, that year is probably 2006 through 2008.
She was your rock then.
Yeah. She held the family together. My mom felt like, she held everything together. The time of the life, my mom was straight. Like she was holding that together. And she had her own issues too, but she never did have to struggle with addiction. It was more food and stuff like that. And so,
is that kind of how some of the eating came in? Was that a stress outlet for you?
Yeah, a comfort thing. Mm-hmm. It was a way. Now it was a drug, way to comfort. People don't know that when they're going through it.
It's so common.
It's so common.
And I'd like to get on some more topics on that. And so get back to that. And so I hit a dark time. I had it going on in college. I was making money. Everything was good,
So I want to ask you, were you selling quite a bit of pot? Were you the man?
Well, I was
making a decent amount.
I was doing okay. Yeah. I was doing okay. I was taking care of myself. I had to, because I didn't have mom and dad's money to come in.
Yeah. So you had to do whatever you had to do.
Couldn't work at Chick-fil-A and make the money. That was my first job. Worked at McDonald's for a week. Walked off. My brother came, got me, wanted to ride around and smoke pot when I was 16. But yeah. And so that's that. So I hit a dark time after college and fell out, moved back home, got into, I never struggled with drugs. I just smoked a lot of weed. And so I was smoking weed and just didn't have nowhere to go. I was living on my brother's couch, literally, just doing nothing.
Were you big at this point?
How much did you weigh at this point?
By then it's when it started escalating. When I got out in college, I was, so as I said, at the age of 16 through 18, I was in a boot camp, like working boot camp. It wasn't a military. It was like working boot camp. You go out, chop wood, you go out, mow grass. We feeding cows, horses. We're like
working.
We're men, they made us men. And thank God for it. I thank God, way I was, I embraced it. I didn't know that now, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I've never talked about it publicly, and so I fell out of college, came home, lived in a homeless shelter in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. A lot of people don't know that.
That's crazy, man.
Did that for a month. I always get all the homeless people talking about Louisville. Just go to Louisville. It's a city of opportunity, huge homeless shelter. And so my brother, I was driving his truck, and it broke down or something happened on the way, and I had to leave it on the side of the interstate. I was too embarrassed to call him. And so I ended up going to Louisville, got a ride to Louisville with nothing. And I walked by a CDL or a truck one day. I was homeless. I had to walk the streets. Every morning you get up and so every morning you have to get up and, I went out, looked for jobs. I was working, anything, serving tables, cooking restaurants. So anything. And so I walked by a Sherman Williams truck. I'll never forget it. And he was backed in there. It was nice and shiny. And it clicked. I was like, damn, that's my way out. I was like, I can't. I was like, there's nothing I can do right now in 6 months to a year, go out and make $60,000. I was like, damn, if I could just get to where I make $1,000 a week, I was like, I'd be set,
Yeah.
And so I went and got my permit and did everything with that, the CDL. And got into a school, and they'd put you up for a month in a hotel and fed you.
How did you pay for this?
Wow.
Well,
were you able to get
through Swift Transportation, where they put you up, and
wow.
you didn't have to do nothing. So it was great.
They pay for everything.
Yeah, and I think I had a food stamp card because I was homeless, and that's what got me through my food. That's what it was. So they paid for my hotel and back and forth to the training. And once you got out of training, they'd guarantee you a job. So you'd go out and ride with an instructor and live with him. Okay, so basically, you're paying me and giving me a house to get back on my feet, and giving me a job where I can go out and make $100,000 a year in 5-6 years. And so I just doing that. And I was like, man, if I'm gonna be in the trucking business or in the transportation business, I'm not just gonna be a trucker. Like I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna be the best. And it took some time. Into the specialties, I got into hauling high-end racehorses for a company called Brookledge. They're the biggest in the world. And we was handling and transportation and caring for some of the best horses in the world. And I was big during the whole time. And I've always struggled with my weight, but I was confident with it.
Well, overweight, but you were okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, get into that. And so I was, I've had the CDL. So I was 22, I'm 35, going to turn 36 now, or 23 when that happened. So
hauling horses.
I was hauling race horses.
Yeah.
And I had a couple buddies I see these buses just, fly by me at night. It was all shiny. I mean, who wouldn't want to, like you're driving, you're like, damn, some people just watch them go by. My mind don't think like that. Like if I see somebody doing something really cool, it's like, damn, I can do that. Like, like some guys doing that, like that guy's doing the same thing, but something different. It's like a doctor. Like if I'm a doctor, I can do that,
Yeah.
And so I seen that. And I was like, man, I had some buddies that did it. And so I got into the buses driving live entertainment. For artists and bands. My buddy called Florida Georgia Line. They was on a big tour going out to Cheyenne for Frontier Days, and they needed somebody to jump in. And he said, you got to do this and get your license. And just whenever the call comes, you got to try to take it. And so luckily, I took 2 weeks off from work. I was going to go like on vacation. I had a week off or something, or 2 weeks off.
Yeah. From the horses?
Yeah, from the horses. He's like, man, can you be, this is like I was going to be in Nashville, or I was getting.
Trent, can you help us tighten this a little bit, buddy?
It keeps falling.
I think it's good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got it.
And so he's like, can you get to Nashville in like 5 hours? I was like, buddy, I'm 3 hours away, and I still got 2 hours to like unload these horses and clean up, then go. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And so I made it. I got down there, and I called this guy, old Jimmy. He's like, those guys been doing it for 60 years. You can tell. And he's like, here's this young guy. I'm calling all excited. Hey, man, I'm going to be working with you for the next week. I'm Joe. And I wasn't worried about it because I knew I could drive. And I could drive. I said, man, I just need opportunity. I said, I'll outdrive anybody I ride with. I said, that's not a problem. He said, well, fire the generator up when you get there. I said, bud, I said, I ain't there. I've never been inside one of these buses. I said, I don't know where the door handle is. I said, I'll be there when you get there. You don't have to worry about that. And he said, damn, we had to go all the way to Denver. And I remember I got behind the wheel. He said, he was kind of nervous, And
you were kind of nervous as well.
I drive. I was nervous, but I was confident because I knew I could, it's a different type of driving when you're driving with $1 million animals behind, especially with Breeders' Cup, getting police escorts and stuff like that. So it's a different type of driving. And so I knew once I got especially if I had clients on, I was like, nah, that's going to be my way in right there. I just have to outdrive everybody to ride with. And luckily it paid out. But so yeah.
So that's how you got started in driving buses for the entertainment.
We started in Denver. We had to pick the band up in 2 days in Denver.
Do you remember what band it was?
Yeah, Florida Georgia Line. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you said that. Okay, yeah. You had a friend that knew them?
It worked for the company.
And
the company got in the bind, and everything was out, and they just needed guys. They needed some.
So then you and you still do. You'll take different jobs for different. You work for one company, but they'll give you different contracts. Like you've done,
they give you different tours. So basically, I work for a company. It's the largest. Is like the Brookledge of the entertainment business. It's the largest live entertainment bus coach company in Nashville in the world.
Wow.
Got close to 120 buses. And so what artists and usually the artists don't, but artists do, they have their own buses. So yeah, they'll come in. And so what they reach out to our company and like their management, and they put tours together with our company, and we just facilitate the buses to get them point A to point B and keep the tours going.
So at this point, tell us, take us through. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it because it blew my mind, but take us through. So you're still heavy, right?
Okay.
So real quick, driving, in my opinion, being a truck driver and sitting in a vehicle for hours on end every day, it has to be one of the most unhealtzy professions.
Oh, for sure.
There
Absolutely.
is out there. It doesn't, it does matter how you're eating, but regardless of how you're eating, it's so unhealthy. So growing up the way you did and not having any sort of counsel or guidance or direction or anything like that, and then
it's a fuel to the fire, right?
Going into that profession, it's really easy to see how you became.
So tell us. So I know how you told me you're like, it's just one day. Tell us the specifics. I remember the story, and I believe it was Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to run it because I want you to tell it, but just how you felt when you guys would go out and the experiences with Morgan and how that made you feel inside, and then the flipping the switch, and then just your journey, man. Because, to grow up like that, to go through that, and then to be as mentally tough and strong as you are is amazing. That should inspire a lot of people. That's why your story is amazing. I think so many people would look at you and say, he doesn't know what I go through. I mean, Dana's had many people like that say, well, she doesn't know. And then you hear a story and you're like, oh, actually, she really does know what I've been through.
That's it.
So kind of tell us that, because that story it really sticks out in my mind. I'll never forget it. That I think you're kind of out partying with Morgan. You said Morgan always wanted you guys to go out. So kind of take it from there.
I did. I fell into that job. I got moved up in that, then started working with Morgan for, I don't know, it was like 8 months. Then some things went down with the business side of it between the company I was working for. I didn't disagree with, and he never did get to see to that. And I try to stand up for the right thing. It was made out to be a bad guy in situations, and I just changed companies. And eventually they ended up coming back over to our company, which is a good thing because they're in good hands now. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted. But yeah, it was not only going out with Morgan. I would never want to associate, too much with that. But it was not just going out with Morgan, but it was like going out, period, being around in the industry, period. You're just looked at like, damn. I hear it all the time, especially being in shape now. They're like, I'm sitting in the seat, and I let people come talk to me, and that's not cocky, but I consider it professional. I'm not in their business. These guys are musicians and whatnot. And so they're like, they're looking at you walking by, they can double, I'm standing outside of the door. They look, and I'm just like, hey, good day. Or, casual hi and bye. They're like, damn, you're a driver? I'm like, yeah, you're taking care of it for the next couple months, It's a pleasure.
But it wasn't like that before.
No, you get looked at, and I was tired of that. Okay, and that trickled in. I'm a single man, so that trickled into my dating life.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't. You get what you could get. And I got tired of that, and I was like that in all areas of life, business, work, everything, personal. You do get looked at, and now I catch myself looking at people of my size, and it's like, damn. I don't see you as fat. I see you as something's not adding up there.
Sure.
Man, let's talk. What
That's
we're eating,
awesome.
you're eating. I seen somebody last night. I went out and had some drinks. And I seen somebody at an ice cream shop on DeMummer, heavy set, dressed up with a nice purse and a girl in a cowboy hat. Yeah. And she was heavy set. I about stopped, went back there and sit down with her and was like, but I ain't there yet. I'm still working on me. Mm-hmm. And I teared up. I was like, damn, it's a Thursday night. There's a million things going on right here. She's wanting to be pretty. And she's sitting there eating ice cream. It's more than just a girl eating ice cream. I know what that felt like. She may not got hit on or, she's not feeling, she's eating that to cure, to feel something. And I felt that last night. I was like, damn.
That's good, man. Keep that.
And so, that's him. I'm doing some things, and it may be 2024, but I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna start studying my ass off when I get back off the road this next tour and try to launch something.
Man, that's awesome.
Just want to help somebody, man. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
Because
you said you'd go out with the group of guys.
Yeah.
And none of the girls would talk to you.
No, they'd overlook you, walk right past you, And it's not about the women. I don't want to sound like that.
But it is, man. I mean, honestly,
it's not the women, but it's society as a whole that look at
true.
you like that, looks over you, you know? And I just got tired of being miserable. Like I got tired of
just feeling that way.
Yeah, I was laying in bed, my feet was tingling. That's what really hit home with me was I had a DOT physical, and that's the good thing. And I would love to get involved in that because there's a lot of these guys that don't need to be driving, and they doctor shop. They go to, and I'll say that they'll go to mom and pop doctor, just wheeze them on through, give them $100 and wheeze them on through. And so they had a thing come out where your neck is over like 20 or 17 or 20 or something, you had to get a CPAP machine. And so I was scared. I was like, damn, I know I got that. Like, I don't want to have to go to the doctor and have it on my medical. And I didn't want to be on blood pressure medicine. And I was getting blood pressure medicine through my buddy, and
trying to make it all work.
Just try to make it go to the test, right? The DOT test. Okay. And I was like, damn. I was like, this ain't, it was miserable. I was sitting in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hopkinsville there's like a condo downtown. It was dark, winter. I said, when I get back, and basically took a 130, a well-paying job when I was in entertainment, like with the touring, right? So my world just stopped. Everything I had in the bank, everything was coming out, but nothing was coming in for 2 years. It's like, shit.
Okay, all because of
2 years
COVID.
ago, in 19, everything, I didn't have, whatever's in my bank account is what we have, so we was going to roll with for 2 years. Once I got up and it's like, shit, what am I going to do? Luckily, I got the CDL, so I wasn't worried about I always said that. Like, that CDL did save my life because wherever I go, I'll always be able to fall back on that and make $100,000.
Yeah.
As long as I just keep the CDL right, business side of that up.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, and it's like, damn, I got to protect that. That's the only thing I got.
Yeah.
That brought me out of like homelessness. It saved my life was trucking.
That's
And so
cool, man.
I had to do that. And I was like, damn, it's like, I've tried it, and did the keto, never was serious. And I don't know what, like at first everybody was like, yeah, I'm eating clean. Everybody call my buddy. And I called my buddy Justin and we just talk, he'd be like, oh yeah, I'd FaceTime and he'd be like, yeah, he's like, damn, you're still at it, and make comments. He's like, damn, man. And finally it just started clicking. And it started clicking. So I did so we'll get into it. I started off doing like the low carb thing, because it was quick. And so I did lose some weight before when I was in the boot camp. The kitchen lady there was an old black lady.
Yeah.
And we got it. And the nurse there, I remember it. So that place was ran by the state and it was very well monitored. And they wanted to, I was struggling with weight then as a kid. I was really overweight and I lost 80 pounds back when I was 16 years old through low carb, just eating green beans and meat. That was before the COVID, or that was before the low carb thing was a thing. Like there was a doctor there or a nurse, maybe a nurse practitioner. That was like, we want to I was like, yeah, let's try to do that. Then it got to the point where I lost so much weight, the state came down and was like, look, this kid's like, he has to eat. Like, we have to do something. So we changed it up. And so I gained it all back plus more. And I never wanted to do that. And so I lost it and was doing really, really, it's a struggle. Anybody can lose the weight. That's the easiest thing. Like, anybody can lose weight. It's the quick fix is not the fix. Like,
lifestyle change, right?
It is. And so I hired a trainer, not a trainer. That's an insult to his credentials. Chaz Spackman, place called Lost and Lifted. Changed my life, man. He nutrition coach, but he does personal training. But I was like, look, man, I had the training. My buddy Reggie's like, Joe, you got to get in the gym, and Dion. So I forgot to tell you about that. And and so I got into that, and it's a big change. He's been my biggest Dion Branch.
Dion Branch.
Yeah, I don't name drop.
Did you drive for him?
I didn't drive. I did his day-to-day management marketing.
That's right.
And so Dion has been a huge, I did the work, but he came in and was like, I didn't say nothing to him at first, and hit FaceTime or like, Joe, you making some changes, ain't you? He calls me dirty. We just talk. And so I got in with Dion. I had the CDL, okay. So I was working for a movie company out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they decided to rent like 4 minivans out or 15 passenger vans out like 12 years ago. It was longer than that. That was a long time ago. I've been with Dion for about 8, working with him. And so, excuse me, helping him out. And so they rented it out and we went to the bed and breakfasts and was taking everybody to the Derby. Okay. So I got paperwork, I went to this bed and breakfast, picked up my guy. I went and knocked on the door, and here comes Vince Wilfork at the front door. Okay.
Big win.
Big Vince. That's my dog, man. That's my road dog.
Big nose guard.
Big, one of the best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Best to do it. And this guy's 6'5", 300 something pounds, and he gets in the van and can't get in it. And, I had to take up the whole row. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know it was until after that noon. I went to the track and Googled who he was, I was like, shit. I mean, it was kind of obvious.
He's a stud football player.
So this guy's all right, and the guy sitting right next to me owned the racetrack and casino and was doing pretty good too. And I hit it off with Gary Pantowski. He was Vince's liaison. And we hit it off. He's like, man, you killed it. And so we had I didn't know it. I just picked him up trying to go to the Derby. And I didn't know it. But somehow I ended up where I didn't need to end up. And I got Big Vince there, and he's like, run it. And we're sitting there. I'm like, man, these National Guard sitting right there with machine guns. I was like, I guess we're going to figure this out, huh? And so I was like, man. And so long story short, how I got in with them. And so I parked up. I was at Churchill Downs. There was so many cops and escorts going out. And I seen the governor come in. I was like, shit. I seen a bunch of cops. He had a police escort, right? And I seen other cops, like other celebrities getting dropped off. Police escorts. I was like, man, this ain't cool. I was like, I'm about to be in traffic. So I walked up to him. I had $500 in my pocket, walked up to the cop and I said, hey, man, how do I get one of these police escorts? I'm with Vince. I said, we need to get out of here. We got dinner reservations at 7:00. He said, man, the governor leaves out at 6:30. Can I was close behind the governor. He's like, I can follow in behind them, be $300. Or it's like 150 or something. I said, I get
off the cops.
Yeah, he said it would be 150 each way. I said, well, here's 300. Just get us there. Like lights, man. Make us here's 300, man. And give me your number. We'll bring you back tomorrow. And so they get in and they're all happy. They've been partying. So I go up and I get them escorted down so they don't have to get bothered by fans or anything. And we jump in. I get escort. I was like, guys, a little surprise, guys. And they was like, Joe, we're going to be able to make dinner. I was like, oh, yeah, we'll be there early. I was like, no, it's traffic. So we get out. I said, yeah, there's going to be a lot of traffic. I said, I got a feeling we're going to make it, though. And so we get out. I said, I'm just going to follow this cop on out of here and get us off prop. We go on the interstate. He's like, damn, Joe, you just going to follow him? I said, no, he's with us. Then we go all the way downtown, and he pulls right up to the restaurant for Sinjo. And so before then, I had it set up where they just go in the back door with the cop so they don't have to be seen and nothing like that. And so that like sealed the deal with working with the football players. Like, so
you became buddies at this point. Like you were one of them.
I was their guy. So they wouldn't go to Derby without me. Like Gary, they'd start contacting me. Like I told them, I was like, after the first year, the second year, like I was learning this stuff on the fly. Like as they called me, there was nothing I would never tell them no. They'd be done. So they know when they called, I was going to make it. They wanted a dinner reservation somewhere. I was the guy that was going to call. So if I had to show up to your dinner, if I had to show up and talk to you personally, we're going to get you dinner reservation. Man. And Dion to this day, we call it Team Shake. He'll call. He's like, man, my wife's trying to book this hotel. We can't do it. He's like, man, Joe, can you just try it? And my record's pretty good with him. It's pretty good. He still calls, but we're buddies. And that's what I was getting at with the weight loss.
Yeah.
And I was always with these guys and like Dion, like helping him doing his football camps. That gave me that confidence, because a truck driving ain't a glorious job.
No, I can see that.
But and I
it's a much necessary job though.
But that's BS too, though. Like you got to feel your sincerity as a man. I just didn't feel it. And working with like doing something like that, I felt like a part of it. I felt like I was like somebody in some sense or form, may I say, because then being overweight and just fat, like you just kind of don't look that serious. And so we did that. And then
was he helping you? Was Dion helping with your meal plans and
Absolutely
training?
Not. Absolutely not. We
so
don't talk about.
Was he motivating you through that time? Because you have a trainer now. Somebody's helping you with the nutrition.
Oh, so what gets me was, okay, good question. Small world. So I got into, he told me I need to get in, I was talking to him, I was losing his weight. He said, man, you got to get in the gym. And my buddy Reggie's like, yeah, you got to get in the gym, tighten that up,
But you probably don't know how to do anything in the gym.
No, I didn't. I was scared. And that's the thing. I talked to my buddy Dion Lewis. He's a pro. We're at Redcon. I said, man, people just don't know. He's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so serious. He's like me, just wants to help folks. And he's a big, massive guy, gentle giant. But people are intimidated,
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Planet Fitness. Everybody laughs about it. And I'd still laugh because I'm in my journey now where some of the weights are getting lighter and the rules and the way I train is not in line with what I'm doing. But I started off at Planet Fitness, and that's a great damn thing because their rules is great for the average person. Yeah, if you're a bodybuilder or you want something extreme, don't go. But that's for the average person. For me, saved my life.
So you truly didn't feel that people were judging you, or
at Planet Fitness? Absolutely not. Hell, they're all the same shape. Yeah. I mean, if you go there, I mean, yeah.
So what date? So do you? I bet because it's a big
like March 17th.
I knew you'd know.
March 17th, I think is when it was. When I got sent home from. It was with the opening actor Lauren Diego.
So now you're sticking with it, right? It's tough. You're learning the gym.
I don't know. People say that all the time, though. Sticking with it, like
no, back then.
Oh yeah.
So how take us through first 6 months? How much weight did you lose?
Oh shit! First 6 months, probably 80 pounds. It was really maybe 100. It was quick.
And you were doing low carb. You're doing
low
keto because you knew that worked.
But it was easy. I was out on the road. Truck drivers, y'all have no excuses, boys. I've done it. I've done this team driving at that. So I'm sleeping while somebody else is driving. I did it. Living out of a semi truck, team driving, one night in a hotel a week, no sleep, hardly. 3, 4 here and there, hour here, 2 hours there. We done load. I'd jog down the street, walk. That's all I did was walk. That's all I could do. I couldn't walk 1.5 miles at first. I'll never forget it. When I started walking, Tyler Young, as my buddy grew up with, he'd every time, I'd be walking and he'd drive by and honk, Well, it wasn't like that.
But to motivate
yeah,
you.
just honking. Yeah. And it did motivate me. It was they see me doing this and it's okay, And so I just started walking. Them walks started getting better. So I started jogging. I was like, damn, I can jog now. So I started jogging. And I got in the gym. I didn't know nothing about it. So I got in the gym probably, I don't know, it was December. And my work, good thing about my work is we do a lot of racetrack work with bricklayers with the horses. And so they put me down in New Orleans in a company apartment furnished for 4 months. So I was down there from December to March and everything paid for, per diem, company vehicle, everything. And so I just had to pay for food, getting paid. I don't want to say it. I guess now I don't work for them, but I was getting paid 7 days a week. My coworkers out there, they're probably mad because they didn't take the job because they didn't get the same deal. But I was getting paid 7 days a week down there working 2 or 3.
So you're just training
for 3 or 4 hours a day though when I go to work, so I could go train. Yeah. And I just fell in love with it, man. That gym just did. Once I got hooked up with a guy named Luke West, Gunny, G-Fit, and G-Fit New Orleans. He's his old Marine.
Yeah.
And he kind of grew up. He was never big. He was real little. And being the littlest guy and just had that grit from just being the littlest guy and found some old school bodybuilders to train him and just fell in love with trying to help folks. Good dude, like my brother, and got in. I reached out. It was in December. I started reaching out. I was like, hey, I'm coming down in a couple of weeks, man. I want to get with you guys. He's like, man, I'm so busy to stay in touch, but I'll hook you up with one of my guys. And I got to looking on his website and then seeing this guy play pro football. It was Devin. And so it was Devin Lewis. He played pro football, played with the Packers, and great dude. He was a trainer. I was like, hey, and I text Dion about it. I said, hey, do you know? Yeah, and I guess he played with Dion or something, or he was a receiver, so he knew Dion. I was like, all right, cool. I'm about to start working out this guy. And so that was cool. And so
Dion's like, yeah, do that.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, oh shit. He's like, ask it. He's like, tell him I said, what's up? I was like, so I went and told, Devin, and me and Devin got cool. And he, at first, first week or so, or 2 weeks, I was with Devin for 4 months or, 3 months. the first week or two, I was doing like the average exercise. Like then I guess he knew my journey and started learning and like what we needed to do body composition wise and showing me the exercises and the breaks and the rest. Like he had to, I was a dog, man. You can tell Gunny, like I'd beat anybody that would go out all night. I'd be at the gym at 7:00 in the morning. Like I was breathing it, and I've dialed back a little bit. But yeah, he showed me the exercises, my way away in the weight room, the rules and whatnot, and that lifestyle down there. So it really helped me.
Having that amount of time to just sit and absorb yourself in it was probably
that
key
helped.
To your journey.
That was crucial.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy to think because it is so hard for people, because food is comfort. And so, when you're heavy, it creates anxiety, stress, low self-esteem. So then what do you do to help with that? You eat. So you broke that cycle, which is amazing. I can now see like the mental toughness instilled in that boot camp. So
now I like to move. So now like instead of eating, it's like we've talked about it. And some things like just a casual conversation. We was talking just offside at your house, just friends. We was talking. He's like, I just went and got a Blizzard and you threw it away because you couldn't taste it because you had prior COVID issues. And I was like, that's wild. I drive by all these places and don't even think about staying in there. Let's jump back to this. That goes back from tracking your food. And Chaz Spackman, God, I love him, man. He saved, like, it's so basic, but it's so simple. You just got to do it. And he was so paid. Like, he don't just take anybody. He said, he's like, you call me, or he's like, we'll schedule a time. Like, he's a busy guy. And there's a reason so. He's like, we'll see if I'm the right fit to work with you, or if you're a right fit for us to work together. I was like, wow, that's what I wanted to hear. Are we the right fit to work together? This guy's not just trying to take my money.
Right.
People don't understand that as a trainer and a nutritionist. Like that's
something that I'm going to do. Like I tell like women, like, I was in a relationship and she was like, you just want to train women. I was like, absolutely not. I said, in fact, I don't want to train a woman. Like, I don't know nothing about a woman and what she goes through. I was like, I want to train dudes, men, like that want to be men.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to train a woman. It opens yourself up. But
so you were so he had you writing down all your food.
No, MyFitnessPal. We tracked everything.
Oh, I love that app.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
MyFitnessPal is amazing.
It is. It's a great tool, and now it's like they've done too much to it. But it's hard to use, but it was really.
So that was your accountability every day.
Every day, track it and checked in with him every day. Took pictures once a week. Every day I weighed myself too. We weighed ourselves. He got a nice little program set up. So every day I weighed myself and turned it in, my measurements, turned it in. And he's like, man, Joe, every day, 7 days a week, I was weighing myself. And what you do is you go off the averages, you add it all up as you know, and you go off the averages and we study that and see what we're doing long term. So I've already lost a bunch of weight when I got to Chad. So I've already lost 120, 130 pounds. And he knew that. What I wanted to bring Chad in was to help me learn to keep that off.
How to make it a lifestyle.
How we're going to do this and keep this off forever. And that's what we've done by tracing our food, learning the relationship patterns. It's so much more than just losing weight. It's the relationship patterns. It's the way you deal with your food. It's the psychology, your behavior patterns of it. And we got deep and raw with it, man. And that's my guy.
So I want to ask you, like, if you could, just in a handful of bullet points, a lot of our folks that we our family really, but they're our customers that we love and adore, have struggled. They eat our stuff because it helps them get through that sweet moment. But most of them,
that's the unique thing about your guys is the cheesecake and the product itself. It don't leave that, like, you eat like a lot of just junk sugar.
Yeah,
you can feel it, right? Not only do you feel it, like it brings you down, but like I feel like it does something. It brings you down, but it leaves like an aftertaste, like maybe crave maybe some more stuff.
Sugar's terrible.
But the good thing about what we're eating, and it's been a staple, but within the journey, especially like with tracking calories, is what I got into. And protein, and what gets your bullet points. Where you say maybe bullet points to try to like maintain or
the advice for them,
the weight. Yeah. So I would say let's try to do 80. Let's try to be 85%. Let's hit our meals 85% of the time.
But how do you get to that point? So like
you have to track your food. You have to get up and walk.
But before that, because I know that sounds really easy, because I've talked to a lot of folks, I'm a pharmacist.
Yeah,
I've been
absolutely.
So I've had a lot of folks coming into my pharmacy, and it seems easy, right? Until, well, something happens and then it's back to that outlet. But if you could give even just like say 5 bullet points, so tracking your food's important, but you know what I heard you say, and it helps me, and I'd like to get back to it, is the measurements. And a lot of people say, oh, you don't want to jump on the scale, it's depressing. Not if you know that it's going to, you have water balance that changes.
Right. Stress, but sleep is critical.
Measurements tell the story. And I don't know about you, because you were doing it every day, but Dan was doing it when I lost a lot of weight weekly. But your motivation only has to make it to the next day. So you're striving for that next day.
But that motivation is going to fade. So we have to build these habits, them bullet points to keep that going. And that's what I've learned. And that's what I'm learning and I'm dealing with every day. And that's the things that I'm doing now. And I've learned and I've taken everybody's advice for the last year and a half.
So I'm going to give you a scenario.
It's cool to be able to live it now and like seeing it. Like that's what, even with you, like some things that you said with the scale, like, hey, you're at the point now, Joe, it's okay to get off that scale and don't worry about it. And now I go off my clothes. See?
Yes, I was going to say that. And even without measurements for the scale.
With it too.
You're like, I have a pair of shorts, he calls them my SpongeBobs because he hates them, but they're my little cutoff denim shorts and they're my favorite shorts. But if I want to know how I'm doing, that's it. Pop those on.
Put them on.
Yeah. Thanks for making me look like husband of the year, by the way.
Oh, I know, right?
So this is real life, but, and I know it, like now things are easier for you. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've had 3 kids, I've put on 50 pounds with my last child. I just can't seem to get it out. What is step 1? Would you say
the whole family, the whole household, we're going to have to do something with the whole household. It's going to be impossible. Your life's already out of control. It's already spiraling.
But where would I start with a nutrition coach, do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
then we have to dial down that nutrition in order to get motivated and if you want to get up and get active, that's fine. But the truth is you don't have to be active at all.
It's all
you can say 80% diet, right? Yeah.
90% of it diet. 10% of it's mental. It's for you. It's for your body.
And that's something that you should be teaching your kids anyways.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking about making them eating celery and broccoli every meal. Like let them have treats and enjoy it, but also teach them the balance.
Absolutely.
So I reach out, I do some research. I find me a good nutritionist. That's step 1. Step 2.
You don't have to do that though.
Would I get a trainer?
You don't have to do that.
No.
I think that's great that you said that. It's not that complicated. And people, we don't have a single mom you're a single mom. You ain't gonna have the money to go out and spend $300 a month or $250 or $200 or $100. What we got to do is we got to make some small changes. We got to figure out why we're at this point. We can lose the weight, Mom, but why are we here? Why do we need to lose? What caused us this? Let's address this. Let's get to that. Let's address that first. But for your average person, the bullet points.
Well, a lot of people, I know, and we've learned this in pharmacy for 20 years, when you're in the gym and your circle of friends or they go to the gym as well.
It's easy.
A lot of people, Joe, don't have any knowledge of nutrition or a very skewed version. And I hate to say there's just a lot of influencers out there giving that aren't qualified to speak, giving information. So this mom, she's been pulled 100 different directions. She's battling because I've heard this probably 100 times. I'd be rich if I had $1 for every time I heard it, but because I don't have $100 right now, that's why I know. But anyways, that was a stupid joke. But so I would hear them say, I was so small. I was a cheerleader. I did fine after my first 2 kids. I bounced back. My third child, I don't know what it is. And they're literally overwhelmed because they don't even know where to start. They don't know anything about, I know it sounds crazy. People don't even know a carbohydrate containing food, high protein food. And I found that very shocking because, I guess because I was around it, in college and high school, but these poor folks don't even have that knowledge. And then they're like, well, how do I even start? Like, what does eating healthy look like? I mean, everybody can say, well, it's chicken and broccoli. Okay, but that's not going to last long.
But it's not.
Yeah, but you also have to, let me make this little statement. You also have to consult your doctor. If you're a woman who's had 3 kids, you may be having some hormonal issues going on and all kinds of other things. So talk to your doctor first, because they can give you, there's so many resources out there and they can give you good direction. And then there's so many apps like,
but at the same time, go to your doctor, consult with them, but don't go to them for weight loss approach.
I was going to say, I'm going to challenge
I'm not
that.
saying for weight loss.
Right.
I like where you're going with the hormonal regulation and looking at blood work. The problem, and guys, I know this firsthand,
especially in medicine, right?
Doctors want, and I'm not saying all there's amazing. We're going to have one on here very soon, but it's time to write a prescription.
That's it. Right? You're killing their business. If you get healthy, you're killing the business. You're putting the doctor out of business.
And I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I went through this powerlifting stage. Okay. So this is really real to me. I grew up a fat kid.
Okay.
So you and I relate really well. Very low self-esteem. I used to get in fights because you weren't going to call me fat, or you're going to pay for it. Yeah. So I go through college, and then I'm like you, man. I'm so disciplined. It's time to get a chick. I got to get married someday. I want somebody to look at me. Right. So then I get out, and then I got heavy into powerlifting. All right. And then all of a sudden I couldn't powerlift a little bit, got busy. And then a month goes by, 2 months. Now I'm 298 pounds going, what just happened? I'm standing behind a counter, pretty sedentary lifestyle.
Because you're still eating like you were when you were powerlifting.
Mm-hmm. Because that's like you're eating now. So I go to the doctor. This doctor's probably 35% body fat, trying to tell me I'm unhealthy and I'm obese, which was true. But do you think he's giving good advice? I don't think so, because he's not living it. Right. So these folks go to the doctor, and please, I'm not making a blanket statement with this, y'all, but a lot of doctors aren't even in shape or don't eat well themselves.
A lot of trainers are not.
So outside, sweetheart, I can look at your blood work. I can tell you where your cholesterol's at. I can tell you where, how your kidneys are doing, your liver is doing. But I would say, except for the doctor we're going to have on soon, who's very knowledgeable and very wellness driven, and is not let's write a script for that kind of doctor. They go home and like, okay, well, now I just know I have high cholesterol and my kidneys are struggling. I got a fatty liver. They still don't know where to start. So, and guys, I'm really challenging you because I've heard these stories day in and day out, and your story is amazing. It's like, I'm gonna tell it the way it's like a switch went off in you, and I'm not going back.
That's it. And I'm scared to go back. Fight with it every damn day, and I look in the mirror. I do. I walk past and still see that shadow when I'm walking in a big city or somewhere in a big town, big building. I see my shadow, and I get scared of it because I look down and I still see that big shadow.
Sure,
But
it's so hard for so many.
I could give 5 bullet points. I think it would be
What's
go back to
one?
that.
What's
step
my step one?
Is there is no 100% way just to say this is going to make you lose the weight. Like you can cut. There's many approaches. It's what approach is for you. If you're a single mom or a mom, you're busy. If the low carb lifestyle works for you, it's all doing the same thing. It's a calorie deficit. You got to get a hold of your calories. We got to teach you what calories are, and tracking that. We got to track that. We got to see what you're eating. I really think that's fundamental, and everybody can do it. It's going to take a little time, but you got to
portion control. Portion control is a number one problem in America.
I think though that is true, but naturally, just by tracking your calories and hitting like a certain calorie you're going to control your portions automatically. So we tackle that. Okay. So if we get to track on your food, and I get so excited about it because this is what it teaches. And like now I go to I eat Subway a lot, right? Like on the road, and like I make it quick, and like that's what he had to tell. He's like, Joe, you got so many resources out there. He's like, and that's what I told us. I can't do this, man. I'm a trucker. I ain't got nowhere to eat. He's like, Joe, but you do.
You do.
He's like, you can go to Qdoba, you can go to Subway, you can get a bag of beef jerky. Yeah. And that's what he started. Like we started learning.
Even now in gas stations, they got fruit and hard boiled eggs.
Quest
and
bars. I eat 3 or 4 of them a day. You know, just to hit protein. I don't like shakes, and y'all gave me the shaker, and I was like, I was going to tell y'all about that. I just never want to be seen with a shaker. I don't want to be like that fitness guy that walks around with a shaker.
So I can't afford, and I know I'm playing devil's advocate.
No,
guys,
so you got to do your calories.
But I can't afford a nutritionist.
You don't have to.
where's my best resource? The web. Like, where did you?
Let's drop our calories 25-30% to start. I think
so
we
that
dropped about
first 100
30%.
pounds, that's what you were doing?
Right. No, the first 100 pounds I did like I said, we circled back and did the low carb. It wasn't like, it was keto probably, but more like a low carb, 100% low carb. It was probably less than 20 a day.
No sugars.
No sugars at all. Even to this day, like I don't do sugars just because like why put it in your, I'm back to the point.
Everything
now.
in moderation, but I think sugar is the number one thing that people can avoid at all costs.
Yeah. And there's a lot of research behind that too and stuff and some meta-analysis that I've been looking at and trying to things. And I know you guys are pretty hip on it. And so, and I think, and especially diabetes runs very high in my family. Everybody's got it. And that was another thing. My feet start tingling. My granddaddy played one of the scholarship, University of Kentucky, played on the Kentucky basketball team and had to amputate his leg. So, he could have went pros. It was great. Held all the records, high school records, and never did get to meet him. Diabetes. Dead by 30.
So now I'm learning about my nutrition, portion control. And to your point, sweetheart, I had a lady come in. I had a couple different customers that told me, I said, they came in and they'd lost, 50, 60 pounds. And I was always a big cheerleader for them. Right. And so I asked her, the one I'm really thinking about, I said, how did you lose your weight? Because I'm seeing pills and failures and anxiety pills for because of the stress eating and, pill. She says, the only thing I did different, Sonny, I'd go out to dinner with my husband. We'd go to the same places. I would literally take whatever was on my plate, cut it in half and take the other half home.
Calorie deficit. That's what she created. And that's exactly what she's saying.
And that sounds, and I was like, a lot of people don't think that because as you get heavier, you keep eating more, you overeat.
Because your stomach is stretched out too.
So that's all she did. She said, Sonny, I still even had a dessert, a couple times a week. But instead of a big piece of pie, I had a little piece of pie.
Yeah, I've studied that. I think the Japanese do that, or the Chinese, they only eat to like 8 to basically to get to the point where you're eating just where you're full. Just where
you're full. Yeah. But it takes your brain a little bit longer to trigger that than your stomach.
Still.
When I used to train, because I was a trainer for many years, and when I would work with my clients on their nutrition, because we did full nutrition plans and their exercise, but that's how I would start somebody especially who's really obese. Let's say they ate at Taco Bell, 5 times a week. And they had their breakfast at Hardee's or whatever. I wouldn't say stop eating fast food because they're never going to do that. Right. They're never going to succeed. When you make these drastic changes, you're never going to succeed. Right. So you've got to start right where you're at. And I'd say, okay, go to Taco Bell every day that you would normally go to Taco Bell, and I'd have them tell me what they ordered. I'd say, eat half of your burrito, or just order one burrito instead of 2. Right. You know what I mean? Like, let's just cut what you're eating, like you're saying, in half. Order all of it if you want, but eat the rest of it for your meal the next day. Good. You know what I mean? That's all it would take. Like, let's start there and we're going to do this for a month.
Yeah, leave the honey mustard off the sandwich. The small stuff. And that's what the tracking got to me is like I said, when I got to talk about the Subways and adding, like, I was like, damn, cheese is 120 extra calories. Sauce is 80.
And their beverages.
That's 200. That's 300-400. I just drink diet, but I just drink water for like a year and a half. Didn't even think. And he's like, dude, you got to drink a Diet Coke. I was like, okay. Yeah.
People don't understand how many calories and sugar they get in just their beverages in a day.
You drink 3 Cokes and that you're at 1,000.
So now we've learned portion control.
Movement, walking. It's, you got to get out and walk. Walking, it's so much. The fitness heads want to say, no, it's an exercise. It's not. Yeah, you're moving. You can call it an activity. It
it's
don't
good
matter
for you
what
mentally
it's called.
and physically.
You're
Whatever
getting out there. If somebody that's never been in the gym, they're 100 pounds obese walking, because I did it. You can't tell me it's not an activity. I did it. I lived it.
Walk or ride a bike.
Walk. Whatever. You're 360 pounds. You're not going to be riding a bike. You're going to do good to walk 1.5 miles. Okay. So walk 1 mile, then walk 1.5 miles.
Were you even worried about your pace? I just want to do it.
Right? I just want to do it. I just want to walk. At first you couldn't walk 10,000 steps. So I'd walk 5. Okay. Then it'd be 6. Then 1 week it'd be 8. And it's 10. Now I'm jogging. Now I'm in the weight room. I was like, damn, if I could just bench, I just get 45 on each side. I started with Devin and he's like, damn, I was like, yeah, bro, we're starting raw, and he still like, he was really, when he seen I got real serious with it, and Gunny and G Fit, that brand down there in New Orleans, that gym, the culture they developed, they seen, at first I was just a new guy coming in there, but then they seen me every day training like a dog, and like, you can go to the gym, but I'm not in there just to like take
social
pictures.
hour. Yeah.
No, I don't go like, they're like, Joe, why do you go so early? Like, I can't be in the gym at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it angers me. Like,
Me
I'm
too.
probably going to go jump on a treadmill today because it's an off day, and it's going to be 5 or 6, and I'm going to hate it because yeah.
It's not as bad when you're doing your cardio though, because you're just on your machine.
Yeah, and get in and get out. Yeah, I'm just going to do it just to move today.
So,
and so they was teaching me that, right? So they was teaching me how to move in the gym. They was teaching me how to work out and stuff. And walking was critical. You got to walk. Like, you have to walk. And especially me, I have to walk twice as much as you do. So if you have to walk 10,000 steps where I sit down every day for my job, I have to walk 15, or I have to make sure I walk 10,000 or every day, minimum 7. I don't go to bed during the day unless I check. And it's 7,500 steps at least, or 8.
So you got
to walk.
Okay. So there's the fallacy out there. Just don't pay attention to the scale. Just how your clothes fit. And I understand the thinking.
We have to at first, because we have to track our success, and you have to see what you're doing.
Right.
That's critical. You have to see some results. And
you can't do that your whole life.
And this is what everybody's saying on TikTok universe. They want to do it quick. We can make you lose the weight quick. Oh, we can starve you, or you can just cut out everything. But here's the thing: we're going to gain this shit right back.
And
Excuse
more
my language.
sometimes.
In May, and not only you develop more habits because we gained it all back. So, but we can deal with that. But let's get some success going, okay? So we're cutting our calories down, okay?
We're walking.
We're
walking as much as we can.
We're walking. We're making some minor changes the first couple months, or the first 4 weeks. We're not going to lose 20 pounds. I don't care if we lose. We're going to try to lose 5 because we're going to do it right. Then once we do the first 3 weeks right, and we lose 5 pounds, then we can dig deep, and then we can start dressing. Okay, well, let's lose 5 or 10 pounds first. Let you see some changes. You're walking, you're drinking water, you're making sure you're eating your protein to protect what muscle that you do have. Mm-hmm. And there's more science into that. We can break. That's a whole nother topic.
We're gonna have you when you get your personal analysis.
But yeah, you got to eat your protein. So you got to eat 1 pound per body weight. That's going to be a lot probably at first, but that's what it's going to do. Is it's going to work on your keeping you full. It's going to we can eat more protein. It's going to it's going to keep you full. Just going to feel better, right? And there's so much toward to that. So you're going to amp up your protein, maybe cut down your sugars and stuff. Okay, fats. You need fats. You need everything in balance. So we don't want to cut everything out,
because so many trainers out there.
We're not going to cut out carbs. Like, that's
except
not
sugar.
Fun.
I said except for sugar.
Yeah. Well, they say, you don't want any fats. I'm like, fats are.
No, we need them. We need these things. Like, you can't just cut everything out. Mm-hmm. But sugar, we don't need it.
We're wet. So now I would say bullet point number 3. We're weighing ourselves at the same time of day, every day, whether that be morning or night.
I wouldn't put that as a bullet point. I wouldn't put weight because
once a week.
I wouldn't even put it as a bullet point because we only got 5. Okay, so we're tracking our calories. Okay, so that's going to do a lot. That's going to help. That's going to cover our portion control. That's going to cover what we're putting on our sandwiches, what we're putting on the meat, barbecue sauce. There's so much that you're not realizing that we're not noticing we're putting into our bodies on a daily basis. Breakfast, eggs, you're putting so much stuff on your day-to-day. Let's cut all that out. We're going to keep these carbs in you because you need them. We may not eat as many of them, but we're going to keep them. Right. And okay, so we got that. We're tracking our food. We're walking every day, 10,000 steps every day.
We're drinking water.
You're drinking all your water. Okay. You're going to let's try to drink two. At first, you're not going to drink a gallon. It's going to seem like a much. We're biting off a big thing. We're trying to lose 50 pounds. We can't do this. There's a lot of information we got to do and changes. So let's drink 3 liters of water today. Okay. 2 liters. Okay. Just make an effort to drink 2 extra liters on top of what you do.
Okay.
So water, I think, tracking your calories and strength training. I think if somebody gets in, if we can make time for that or some exercise, I really think that's
going to be some body weight to start.
That's body weight squat,
push-ups, sit-ups, squats, anything like that.
But it's the after benefit. What everything comes into effect with strength training and weight loss. And it's been proven in studies like meta-analysis that strength training mixed with a little cardio and nutrition, it not only is it sustainable, like long-term, but you accomplish more, you lose more fat.
And strength training, y'all, doesn't
you look better in a body composition.
You're in this, you're trying to bench press 300 pounds. It just means pushing yourself
That's
with
it.
a little bit
That's
of extra
it.
weight.
Just
right?
it's just strength. That's it. And we don't have to the average person, we just say work out or even go to the gym. It sounds like
even use the little machines and do a circuit.
Well, I'm 360
you can get on there.
and people are scared. They don't know where to start. And that's what my guy, me and D was talking about over in the gym. He's like, man, people just don't know where to start. And they don't. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot. Like it's so scary. Alarming. Oh, it's scary. And especially as a woman.
How important do you think
scared to be judged in the gym
to have at least a weekly measurement? Should they learn? Because I'm going to say personally for
100% it's important at first. Absolutely. Now it's not, you
want to see that progress and you want to see those changes when you're starting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's very important.
Would you say coupled with the scale? So take an average of the scale, but really, would you say once a week, once every 2 weeks, we need some measurements?
Yeah, once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week's fine. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we're doing that. We're building momentum. We're having weight loss. We're getting in this groove. How do we, and then what would you say? Like, cause I was listening to you dug in deeper. You were like, okay, I'm going to seek more nutrition counseling. I'm going to seek more training advice. Kind of, once you start that process, what kept you going down that road? Because man, now you are Mr. Fitness. I love it. He sends me pictures all the time.
Yeah, it was that. People start catching on. Then like Gunny was like, I was fortunate to be able to spend so much time with him because he's coached bodybuilders and he's owned his gym for 10 years and he's been in the fitness industry. That's how he makes his living for a while. Then he came in and he seen that grit. Like at first I was just an average gym guy. Then he started respecting it and seeing like, this guy's living it, like, and like hungry for it. Like we've cried talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's emotional.
And to this day, he's like we'll go out or something. And like, he's been the biggest cheerleader. And like, I was going, like he was single and I was single. And so
I just picked out a point. You need a cheerleader, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you want somebody to help hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Okay.
One
That's
person.
great.
Yeah, you got to have a good
advice.
support system. Let's just say that. Yeah. And I all think as a family, if we could get your husband involved in it.
Yes.
And y'all can do that together. And one of y'all's going to be competitive and try to outdo each other. Then the kids are going to get involved in it.
We don't do that in our house because Dana would destroy me.
She would kill you, huh? I know you're trying to play
She's weird, man.
I've made you throw up before working out.
That's why I don't like to do
it.
But
if you could do that, everybody walk together and stuff like that as a family for an average person, I think that we should do that. But for the main thing is got to get on top of the calories. We got to start burning more calories than we're putting into our body, get some results in. All right. Make some minor changes to our food. We're tracking and everything. So we're going to make some minor changes to our food. So once we got that, you're going to see some things. And it's not going to be totally strict. We're not going to you're not going to cut everything out 100%. You can be great, but
fad diets don't work long term.
No, it's a fad, and it's not a diet. I don't like to say diet. It says
we
diet
don't use
in
that word, do you?
I call it nutrition, and it's your approach and relation. It's not even like, I hate to say it because it is a lifestyle and it sounds cocky and a blanket statement. I like to say it's a relationship with food, nutrition, To the average person, diet or a lifestyle is a lot. You got to think we're trying to get somebody up off their ass.
Lifestyle is what you do every day. Like your job is your lifestyle, right?
Yeah,
your family is your lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. But if you're 360 pounds sitting on it, that's a lot. We're trying to get somebody off the couch and get them motivated. Yeah. You got to want it too, though.
It's something you have to create.
Right.
It's not going to happen overnight.
Right. Yeah, and it does.
It's become your lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. And I enjoy it. It is a lifestyle. And I don't look at it as like that. People say that and it's like, I'm like, nah, I ain't no meathead. It's like, it's not a lifestyle. I still go home, sit on the couch all day. Like I go home, I work out.
But you're not going to go more than probably 2 days without going to the gym.
I've not missed 3 work. I've not went over 3 days and will never. I don't care if I have to I don't care if it's a 45-minute workout. I'll go into the gym and knock out something.
And I would say too, and tell me if you agree, you have to kind of break those environments where you comfort. It's kind of just like smoking or drinking. Let's be honest, you get together with certain people, you go to a certain place and eat or drink, right?
That's it.
You're in a certain atmosphere.
I didn't lose a lot of that at first.
Avoid, because man, you're in the toughest thing. You're in the music industry. I'm sure there's great food all around you all the time.
3 days a meal, or 3 meals are catered by professional chefs.
Yeah,
3
probably
days.
not a lot of chicken and broccoli. I mean, So, I mean,
thank God for the last summer tour that was on with the KC guys. Luckily he eats right. And so they had some options at the end. It was great. So yeah, but you don't get that a lot. But I kind of find like, that's where I kind of like found it. Like, it's kind of cool, like being the only guy or being the only person out here that's eating different, or like it's hard, but I embraced that. Like it is hard.
You know what I think is cool though, talking to you, because we spent quite a bit of time together. You come into a city, wherever the artist is playing.
That's it.
And the first thing you do is,
I already know before I get there. I already know what you're going to say. I'm going next week. Like I already know the whole week. Like, and now it's like, oh, I know where it's at. You know, I just go to my gym, or call I am and yeah. And I was talking to a guy at the gym about it. He said, that may be something that's really helping your physique. Like I'm not into bodybuilding. I'm in a body recomposition, like working with people that's been obese, and like I really want to help them. Let's recomp that body. Let's recomp your life. Like let's do something mentally.
So Joe, I think, man, your story is extremely inspirational.
It's not over yet, though.
It's not, and I'm excited
to help somebody.
Be with that journey. Would it be okay if anybody listening could reach out to you on social media? Like, what is your Instagram handle, that if somebody wanted to send you a message and say, man, I listened to you, Joe. And guys, we're going to have some pictures where he started. You guys will be able to see that kind of side by sides. We'll post some of those. You can kind of see where he started. Obviously, you see where he's at today. I mean, he's in great shape. Mentally, I'm sure a lot better shape, because now he's like, man, now I go into a room and I don't feel like everybody's turning their head away from me. I actually feel like somebody might be looking at me. A girl might be checking me out.
I know, though, but now I know how. I don't want to say this, but like, I'm going to say it, but now I know how hot chicks feel, because I'm not hot by no means, but I know how hot chicks feel when they get looked at. It makes you kind of feel weird. People look at you like it makes me feel weird when like people walk by and like look at your chest, or somebody says, hey man, nice arms. Or I'm like, man, I ain't got no big arms. Like that's my insecurity, man. Like I'm trying to grow them things. Or somebody's like, damn, you don't skip leg day, do you? Or, it's like, damn.
You got to own that now.
I know, but it kind of makes you feel weird,
It's hard. Humble people are like, yeah, man, I look great.
Like, yeah, kick your ass, man. What's up?
That's right. So
I don't want to be that though. Like in the gym, guys, and now it's kind of cool. Like I'm seeing like a couple of guys in instances, like this guy come up and just, you can tell he's just green, ain't worked out, just
is he
soft.
Heavy?
Yeah, just soft, just look like he just soft, like indoors type, and he's like, hey man, you show me how to do that. He's like, I've been trying to do it. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, fuck yeah. Excuse my language. I get a little real. I was like, hell yeah, man. I got you. Like, come on.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, it does feel good a little bit, but I don't work out with a lot of people. So it's like, I got to stop what I'm doing. Like, it's I'm in there to get shit done.
Yeah.
And tear some shit up, like get out of the way. But I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. And like some of the old heads, they'll say something to me. Like some of the pros in there will say, but that's hard. That's hard. I'm still.
So many people, man, our society, I feel, I don't know how to say it, and especially,
we got to break that stigma that going to the gym and that
I actually get emotional.
It's messed up.
And excited when I see a heavy person walking on the treadmill.
I do too. I love it.
I think, man,
I want to go over and like, come on, man. Like,
yeah.
I do too, but you don't
want to make them feel uncomfortable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do too.
But I want the people out there that are struggling, because I feel like you felt like either people were looking at you in a negative way or just pretended you didn't exist. And at 360 pounds, you took up some space. So
right.
It's obviously you were there. I think I want people to know, especially when you're in the right gyms. I love that you endorse Planet Fitness.
I do.
They do get rid of all
dog
the
them too at the same time. Especially, I've been kicked out of Planet Fitness.
Stupid
I've never set it off, but I've been kicked out. They told me
I've set it off.
They told me I was intimidating. I was intense.
They wouldn't let my buddy bring a gallon of water. I'm like,
oh yeah, or my backpack. I can't keep my backpack. I keep my wallet, my backpack, and I go to
use a weight belt.
Yeah, or weight or gloves, or.
But there's a lot of good ones.
But that's awesome though.
I have a hernia. Like I have to use a weight belt when I lift.
But for the average person, get this. you're starting your fitness journey. You don't need all that. You don't need a weight belt to do a squat. You're not going to be doing squats your first week of exercising anyway. You don't need it. That's awesome.
And that's who they want to feel comfortable.
That's it. And they've got a hell of a business while they're successful. And that's why you can put one up and it's going to be packed. You know, they want you not to come back. That's the gym. You know, I was going to get in the gym business. And Gunny's like, no, you know, you don't like, it's hard.
Yeah.
And he's the same way. He knows everybody that comes in that gym, makes it a name that everybody works for him. He calls you by your name. Hey, Joe, good morning. Hey, Sonny, good morning.
So you weren't heavy when you went to the gym?
Absolutely. I was. I was still fat. I was still losing weight. Did you were you still a little bit insecure that people were looking at you in a negative way? I wouldn't wear a sleeveless shirt in the gym. And I would wear like a long sleeve. Like you see a lot of my training video, or like, I don't want to say training because that just sounds like we're trying to help the average folk. Yep. And so I'd go to the gym and wear like a sweatshirt or like a long, like a
try to hide it. Everything.
Well, yeah, you know, it didn't have nothing to show off, and you know, ain't nothing to be proud of. Look like shit, you know. I mean, what are you going to show off? I was embarrassed, you know, and I couldn't curl. I was curling 40 pounds, like 30 pounds, like struggling with straight bar. They haven't had me over here just doing it. Sorry. You know, and now I'm like,
30, I was going to say that's a lot for me.
You know, and I was trying to knock it out, you know, and I got videos. It's cool to go back and what keeps me going now is, and notice I've seen some results, is I'm starting to feel it. You know, I feel good and everything. But what kept me motivated was knowing that I always said, when that live entertainment comes back, I'm going to come back. Like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be the best. And like, I'll be back. Like, you're
completely a different
They're going to know what the hell's up. And I want to do that. And I want to like help somebody feel help me. And I don't want to work with women, but because I don't know what you go through. I don't know what a woman's trials and struggles are.
Yeah, and I think their emotional things are probably different. But I want folks out there that are struggling to know people in the gym, and we've got a lot of friends in the gym.
None of us got it figured out.
Well, and nobody's judging them. I think, you know, we're our worst enemy. And I just want you folks to know, like, we all want to do what you just said. We want to come up and encourage you, but we don't want it to be weird. And so I want folks to know, because, you know, I mean, we have bodybuilders in our circle. We've got all kinds of stories of weight loss. But every single person,
they're struggling with more insecurities than you are.
Probably, yeah.
That's the thing. Like a guy, the most shredded jack dude in the room in a gym with a shirt and a bikini has a lot of issues. Got some demons he's working off. But it's cool that, you know, you see his hard work and you admire it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it is cool. It's a cool thing to be a part of. And it's a cool thing to be able to do and do for yourself. That's the only thing that if I keep with it, that I can take it, you know, somebody can take it away from you. COVID can't come down and shut it down.
We're going to direct people to your social media.
Yeah, Instagram is Joe Greenwell 87. So it's just, feel free.
We'll create a link too.
Yeah, they can follow me and keep up with I try to keep it. I post a lot of, you know, there's some personal things on there just to show, but I try to, you know, show some workouts and a lot of progress pictures and stuff on there. Then as we move into 2023, maybe into 24, we're going to try to launch some business and make some right moves. And just anybody can get a certification. When I come out and do something, I really want to I'm
glad you just said that. I was going to bring it up earlier. In the fitness journey, and guys, this drives me absolutely crazy. Folks pay good money for trainers.
That's it.
Seeing them on their cell phones, I want to rip the cell phone out and throw it on the ground. So I say all that because, you know.
You mean the trainer on their cell phone?
Yes, trainer on their cell phone.
I hate that. Absolutely.
These people are paying a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And they're not learning anything. So,
or just showing you an exercise. Like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. You know,
so I would advise people, and would you advise people as well? Maybe not just go with the first trainer at your gym.
Absolutely. Don't go with a trainer. Research them, because the trainers at the gym, they don't look like they work out. And
get references.
Yeah, they don't know.
Get references.
They're not doing the exercise properly either.
Oh, I've seen guys I've seen horror stories. I mean, I've seen trainers having little old ladies doing things that shouldn't, you know.
And the only thing she needs to be able to do is like, she don't need to, they need strength.
She probably needs to be working on balance. And,
right. She don't need to squat. Yeah, she just needs to be able to get up the stairs.
Yeah,
and you said it best earlier. There's no one size fits all. There's no run gym that's the right gym. But I do think it's key to find a trainer that really cares. I think about when Dana used to manage that fitness studio. She was a part of their lives.
You have to be.
She was
a therapist. You're working with these people's lives. Man.
That's exactly what
you're working with. So much of what people are going through with their nutrition is it's emotional.
Yeah,
as
you
we
have
talked
to get
about.
that Chad got.
So you have to know what's going on in their lives in order for you to even help them in any way. I had a trainer when I was a trainer. I had a client.
Pictures in your underwear.
Yeah.
Well,
that too. I had a client write me this big recommendation, like this big what's it called, reference. Thank you. And he was amazing. I used to teach him I taught him to run marathons and all kinds of stuff, and he gave me this awesome reference, and he came in and he handed it to me, and he sat down on the floor and he just started like complaining because he didn't want to work out that day. He's like, I don't want it, and he's blah blah blah. And I walked in and I threw it back at him and I said, I don't even want you to give me this until you're actually acting like you're saying in this letter right here. I said, because I don't have time for this.
That's right.
I said, you're not paying me to be your friend. But you have to know what's going on in their lives, and you have to get involved with them.
Absolutely.
To know, because they can tell you everything that they want to tell you. They can tell you what they're eating. Well, they're probably lying to you about it. They can tell you what they're doing. Probably they're just telling you what you want to hear, but they're not succeeding for a reason. And until you are emotionally involved with them, you're not going to know why
That's it.
Now, I don't want to detract from this, but is that the same one that made you an hour and a half late for our first date?
Yes, actually it is.
Actually, I remember that story. She was training. It's probably the same guy too.
I remember the story. Him and his wife, by the way. But yes,
that's it. No, I think that's great. If everybody can just if that would be awesome. It's intimidating. It is to say 160 pounds lost. Like, wow. But it's been great. Like, I feel good. Yeah, I think if you feel good.
That'd be like doing a workout with me hanging on your back.
Yeah, it's getting to that point where I'm really feeling good, and just the quality of life's better. Your step, your confidence, people are saying, Joe, your smile, it's the same smile, but something's different, or a different look. But it is, and it's a lot to bite off. 50 pounds is a lot to bite off.
So, and we'll wrap this up soon, but so you started off, 360 pounds seems like a mountain that you can never get over, right?
Right.
So what did you tell yourself? I'm just going to try to lose
20 pounds. I was going to lose it first. I was like, damn, I'm going to lose 20.
Did you have a date? Did you
no, we're just going to lose it.
Lose 20 pounds.
I just want to lose it. So I lost it quick.
So then what?
I was like, damn, I'm going to lose. So I was like, shit, we're going to lose another 40, right? So I lost 40, and I was starting to do all this, and I was just doing low carb stuff, no carbs at all. And
give me just real quick, give me an idea of what a meal would look like. A couple meals, maybe like a breakfast.
I hate saying that because I'm so against milk.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter. Don't even do that because unless your body different for everybody.
Yeah, I'll tell you some things I'd cut out. Okay, you don't need a meal prep unless you're a professional athlete. Okay, or competing.
So you didn't do that at all?
No, you don't need a meal prep, and I hate that because people get bogged down, and you're creating all these things before you even get into the gym to create a perfect situation to go to the gym. You don't need that's what I say. It's cool if you need a partner to motivate you to go to the gym, but one day that guy's gonna have a flat tire and he ain't gonna be able to make it, or his dog's sick, and then you're not gonna go to the gym. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna let you be. You're not gonna deter my journey like that, brother. So. We'll circle back to where we're getting at. So some lifestyle changes. I went from making biscuits and gravy and a Mountain Dew. Not only that biscuits and gravy, but I was going to have 3 or 4 pieces of sausage with it. I was going to have the gravy to go with it.
Yeah.
I think there's one time I was putting gravy on cinnamon rolls, or I'd go to Hardee's and get the biscuits.
That's about as southern as you can get.
I know, but the biscuits at Hardee's are fire, man. And you put raisins in. They had raisins cooked into them. Then you can get them with and the biscuits itself are fire. They put the raisin and made a cinnamon bun. I said, put the gravy on it. We're sold. Then you add in so
then a new meal would look like what?
A new meal, I would just cut all that out. And so now, all right,
but what would you eat?
Today, I'm on the low carb thing is quick if that's your thing. So I would eat eggs, cheese, a lot of fats, and meat. There was no bread, so I just eat a shit ton of eggs. And still to this day, I eat a lot of eggs.
I love eggs.
And I lose all that seasoning, man. Like seasoning's great, okay, but lose all that let's say condiments. Let's do all that, like
the sauces that are
the mayonnaise and
you don't need all
barbecue
that.
sauces. And
you don't need all that.
And that's an easy thing to get.
That's it, and that's easy. It gives you some calories back to enjoy throughout the day. It's at least something. That's what I was teaching myself. It was like when I was tracking, I was seeing that. I keep saying Subway. I could do that, then I could have my protein, my cheesecake and stuff, and it wouldn't, my protein bars with you guys, and it was like 230 calories, so I was, I could save, it worked out, and I got my treat I get my treats, and it's not like I'm really restricting, and that's the thing with the snacks with you guys, the protein snacks, it's like, you really don't feel like you're restricting nothing, and that's the cool thing about it.
That's been awesome. So tell me, and then we'll wrap it up, because what did your old dinner look like versus a new dinner on your weight loss journey? Okay, so what would you eat? Like my pizza? Typical meal. Okay, let's talk about what I eat like to now. Like what would I eat, right? So then when you were heavy, like what was a typical dinner?
Oh man, whatever. Steak, fried chicken, burgers, couple burgers, French fries, everything on it. So mushroom Swiss burger.
So the first 4 months you went, then what would dinner look like?
Oh man, so the first year and a half, I didn't like really go out and drink. I didn't go out and party. So Luke, okay, yeah, let's talk several things here. So my typical day was reckless, right? I'd drink probably 2 liters of Coke a day, Mountain Dew, on top of all my energy drinks, candy bars throughout the day, snacks. Okay, so I'd eat 2 snacks. I'd eat in between the meals. So I was eating 6-7 times. No telling how many calories I was eating, and I was eating everything with it. I'd eat. There wasn't a typical meal. What was a meal? Steak, bread, go with it. All the so everything. And so it was reckless. So now I think what could help more is not what I ate then. It's like what I eat now. So it shows people like the calories and stuff. So now I wake up. I eat the 100-calorie oatmeal. It's better oatmeal. You can get it at Kroger or Target or buy it online, and I can take it anywhere with me. So every suitcase that I have, and on my bus, I have packs above my head. I have packs in my suitcase.
Yeah. And
so I just put 3 packs, 4 packs. That's 400 calories. Okay, so I eat 3 packs of oatmeal. I can put it in a coffee cup. I can put it in anything. Put it in a microwave, warm it up for a minute, or I can use the coffee machine in the hotel, right? And so I do that. And so I start my day or day, night, whenever, my schedule's a little bit different. And so I'll eat that before I go work out. Mm-hmm. With some protein, I try to have 40 to 50 grams of protein per meal. I try to hit 200 grams a day. I don't do a lot of junk food, just don't crave it. And so I'll do it like a protein shake or a Quest bar or a banana or something,
throughout the day.
Or for breakfast. We're still on breakfast.
Okay.
Then after I work out, I'd probably be hungry. So you'll try to get like a good meal in or something like that. I do Subway for lunch. So like the thing is to maintain it and to have success, you got to have several options, but you don't need a bunch. You just stick to some 3 or 4 things that work. So Subway, I can't get Subway, I go to Chipotle. If I don't do Chipotle, I'll get something from Chili's. And that's what Chad worked with me. He's like, all these options, man. He's like, Joe, that's not an excuse. He's like, because all these places
have something
healthy options, man.
Yeah.
He's like,
you just have to make the right choices.
He's like, eat the baked potato without all the junk on it. Like a sweet potato is actually good if you just get it cooked right.
A little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah. Don't even like a good warm sweet potato from a restaurant and a steak is like, damn, that's so good. You're just putting that extra stuff on it for nothing. Mm-hmm. And so so I just, I try to eat my meals now and track them and everything. I don't know. So I try to keep them like 600-700 calories. And so
you're watching all the calories per meal.
I don't track now, but mentally, where I've tracked it for 6 months, rigorously, I'm in a ballpark to maintain it. I'm not trying to get bigger. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to maintain a size large, a 33, 30 waist. I'm good. And what I'm learning is I'm still like, you're at it and whatnot. And so then supper would be, it'd be a good meal. It always have some vegetables and some rice or some carbs in it, healthy carbs, whole wheat. Now I eat like a whole foods diet. Basically everything's whole foods, eggs, just whole good food. No processed foods, none of the junk.
Cut that out.
And it's pretty easy. I don't have to, my lifestyle's great. You know, I get.
And you have probably one of the careers that is the most difficult.
It is
to be healthy. I would say one of the top careers.
That and a nurse, I would say, would probably be hard. You know, because long hours and just, but still, they got. I mean, they get to go home. Yeah, they get to home and they got people cooking their food at a hospital, so that's not an excuse either.
You know what I think would be amazing? It might take you some time, but I think it would resonate with a lot of people. Is obviously you're sharing your journey on Instagram, but I think what we've talked about today, maybe give some folks. It'd be cool for you to put some meal options on there so that they know what those things look like. What changed for you? Good. You know, you could say, this is what I used to eat now, you know, and then I lost 40 pounds and this is what my diet. I think there's a lot of people out there, Joe, that could learn a lot from your story. You know, just as a side note, Joe didn't have bariatric surgery. He didn't leave that point out.
No surgeries. This is no pills or
no weight
natural
loss
weight
pills.
Loss. Absolutely.
And it's really impressive. But so I think man, you would have a big following if you could give some folks some ideas and take them through that journey, like where people could go to your Instagram and be like, what is, because you've given a lot of good information, but what is a healthy breakfast look like for him? And then, you know, I love your heart, man, that now I've done it. And now it's for me to give back and help other people.
This don't mean nothing if we can't, like, none of what I'm doing works. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like it's worked for me, but like to me, like if I can't, it's nothing. Like it feel empty if I couldn't help somebody feel. I don't want to say this good because it sounds cocky, and I'm very, very never want to do that.
Self-confidence.
But I really, I would probably pay you $5,000 if I knew you would stay with it. I'd give you money to seriously, man, because man, it'll tear you up, man.
I think, man.
But everybody matters, though, man. Even the 365, they got a chance. 500 pounds. We've been talking about the artist. I don't want to name drop, but
20 pounds at a time.
You know, 500 pounds is, you know, that's a lot, you know, but it could be done, man. Like, come on, it can be done. And I'll cheer for you. Anybody wants to do it. Like, I'm going to show me you're serious and I'll be your biggest fan. That's just show me a couple months. Show me I'm 3 weeks being serious. Everybody, you know, my buddies at first, they all get into it, you know, and they'd be real hyped, you know, first couple of days, and I was losing, like I was getting in. I cared more about it than they did, you know. And they're texting me, and then eventually that fades away. And so I don't really try to help friends a lot, just because I end up like I get real passionate about it. I care more about it than they do, and that's why I'd have to be picky about who I would work with, because I care more about it. I don't want to care more about it than you do, you know.
Yeah.
Does this hit a nerve with you?
Yeah.
I mean, but if we did care about just a little bit of the way I do, we
if I
do some
counted
good
the
things.
amount of workout partners I've had over the years,
Or
and
how
people
many
who've
times-
asked me to help them get ready for something, or how many
just-
diet plans you've asked me to write up for people.
I always kind of throw under the bus.
No.
But, you know, you'd only have to just, I think if you just
That's great. I want
made
to.
your journey visual.
I'm trying. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways and creative ways, and I need to get. Yeah, we're working on trying to get connected with the right people.
I think you're going to connect with a lot of folks.
I want to.
I'm proud of you, man.
We'll definitely put your contact information
Absolutely.
and stuff. And
yeah, what you guys are doing too, we can't knock that. Like protein snacks, man, them things are great.
Thank you.
That's why we're here. I mean, that brand that you've created out of a house is quit 2 great paying jobs to create a brand, and not only that, you're helping people. The mission behind it. It's a good thing.
We are very passionate about stories like yours.
I think we need people to dig in and see your guys' passion about it and the grit, because I get to see it as a friend of you guys and cheer you guys on from the sideline. So that's just kind of cool.
You have been amazing too. I get awesome.
I have to. I got to save my seat for that private jet here. You know, I got to hold my seat at the table, buddy.
That's right.
Well, buddy, it's a blessing to have you as a friend, and it's certainly a blessing to have you here today.
Very good.
Of course, best wishes to you. And we're going to have you back when you're a trainer, but
let's do that. Maybe a year from now, it'd be cool. See where we're at. And hopefully, you know, we got somebody, maybe somebody could bring somebody in with me and say, hey, we did it. You know, this is what, that'd be kind of cool to bring somebody in.
That would be
give them the motivation to give them kind of because it was always kind of been cool to be able to, I think it would be cool to do it.
All right, brother. Best wishes to you, man. Thank you for
man.
sharing.
See you guys.